an old experiment in our computer. And it's a very important analysis about how the ocean is changing. But the last time someone ran this experiment was 5 years ago. But she thinks no problems, science never change. So there is a big problem. She opens her computer and she finds very old files. The software is too old, it refuses to start. Helen tries everything. She updates drivers, she installs packages, she restarts her computer, tries, but nothing works. So she tried to contact the first developer of the software, and Helen was not in a lucky day. The developer now make wine in Chile. So Helen is thinking, if only there was a platform where I could find this workflow with all software version encapsulated, shareable, and reproducible. But that doesn't exist. At the same moment, our boss sent her, is the analysis ready for tomorrow?
But fortunately, there is hope. There is a platform where you can construct workflow. So a bit of explaining of what is a workflow. So it's a chaining of scripts. So for instance, Python script, R scripts, or also notebooks to build an operational analysis pipeline. So fortunately, we can show you a platform where you can run workflows. For instance, let's directly go to the instance. And here you directly arrive on a workflow designer editor. So you can see we have multiple boxes in the front screen. And all of these boxes are actually part of the workflow. So any user that would like to do a workflow can directly choose the boxes that he wants. So for instance, here you have the box for the data that you want to analyze. To have all the details of this data on the right side, you can see the label, you can add some annotation to remember what are those data, specify the formats, and add some tags. Once you added your data, the user can directly choose the boxes that it wants to analyze and process them. So you have Ocean Data View, which is a tool. So you can then change this tool to other different kind of tools. And as you can see on the right, when I click on those tools, so these are actually notebooks. This one is a notebook. You can directly see the metadata and the different the details of these tools. So for instance, the name, the description, which version it's in. You can change the label for better understanding of what it is. You can change the description to remember the use of this tool at this point. And then you can also change the parameter of the tool to input when you want to run your workflow. And you can also add some additional option and some additional configuration on the output. You can rename them, you can add some labels, change the data type, add some tags, so that you can really document everything that you've done during your analysis and that you'll be able to remember in 5 years ago what you did and be able to rerun the workflow without having to rediscover it. So on this web workflow editor, you can also add some text frame, for instance, where you can just say what's going on from this point to this point. You can also draw some freehand drawing, like that, for instance. Or you can add some markdown command and also some frame command. And you have other multiple kind of options and features that you can have. And here on the left, you have all the general metadata of your workflow. So the name of the workflow, the version of it, some description of what is doing, what your workflow is doing in a general sense. You have to add a license. And you need to add a creator, for instance, and some tags. And you can see on the far left here, you have some different sections. So this is actually, if you want to add some tools to your workflow, you can directly click on tools. And then you can just go and click, and it will directly add you a box here that you can choose to link or not to your, you can choose to link or not to your other tools or just remove it. And you can also add some inputs and some different kind of choices that the user would want to add to its workflow. And one of the nice features also is the best practices section here that will analyze your workflow and let you know if it has all the metadata that are needed. So for instance, here it's perfect. And for instance, if you don't have the creator, it will put you a little red cross and tell you add the creator, and then you can directly do it in your attributes here and add what needs to be added to your workflow. So this is a presentation of a workflow editor. And if I go back to the presentation, so this workflow editor is actually available within the Galaxy platform, and this is why we're here today. It's to present and welcome you to the earthsystem.usegalaxy.eu, which is an open source platform for reproducible science, and we will present it to you today. So I'm Mary Jossé, and I work in the CNRS in Terra, and it's been around 3 years that I work on Galaxy and 2 years that I work on Galaxy for Earth System in the framework of Paris.
And I'm Jérôme Detoc from Ifremer, the French Data Science Institute, Marine Science Institute. And I work on the Earth System Use Galaxy.eu for 2 years in the framework of the Paris project, EOS Paris project. So before go further, Helen have a lot of questions, but this platform looks like very, very good, very interesting, but it's free. What's the catch? I surely had to install something in my laptop, perhaps a Kubernetes cluster in my living room. How it can deal with my old dependencies like bioconductor 3.5 and my custom air package that only works if I shine during a full moon. And Helen poses to understand what she is really looking at. And for that, let's go to the University of Freiburg and meet the Galaxy Europe team. So use Galaxy.eu is a part of a global network of Galaxy servers. She is hosted at the University of Freiburg in Germany, and it provides an open source platform for scientists to run data analysis workflows without the need to install software and to worry about infrastructure. This Galaxy server is free to use and sustained by a collaborative community of researchers and developers. She guarantees data storage, and she offers through some training materials, some forums or direct chat, a big help.
So Galaxy Europe is an open source platform, as Jérôme told. It's for creating workflow, and since 2012. So it's a open server which is usegalaxy.eu. It's multi-domain. So it was first built for bioinformatics, but now it's expanding to any other domain. So for instance, health, climate, ecology, and more particularly to Earth system science, which is why we're here today. So we have our own domain, which is earthsystem.usegalaxy.eu, where you will have no more dependency held to do Earth system sciences, just do your science. And so the Galaxy Europe server has actually a lot of distributed heterogeneous compute across Europe. And to start well on understanding what Galaxy is.
So Helen is curious now, and as you, I expect, and a good starting point is the Galaxy training network to start on the right foot. So with Marie, let's discover this Galaxy training network now.
Yes, so the Galaxy Training Network is a place where you'll have a set of tutorials and classes and courses like webinars, and also pathways that are bringing all together different tutorials to explain different features of Galaxy and explaining some science analysis. So it's an easy way to learn to navigate in Galaxy and improve your skills in various domains. So for instance, you can have a set of tutorials on fair management, which is independent of Galaxy actually and really focuses on the fair science. But you can also have tutorials on specific analysis that are conducted within Galaxy. So let's directly check out what the Galaxy Training Network looks like. So click here. So this is the homepage of the Galaxy Training Network. So you can see here you'll have different set of tutorials that are listed by topic. You can also have a quick start here for the admins, for developers that want to contribute to Galaxy, but also for the trainers. And you have also the learning pathways. So this will help you to discover through a set of tutorials a really specific feature of Galaxy. So in the different topics, you'll have the scientific fields, but also the different more specific tutorials on how to contribute to Galaxy, either on the administrative side or development side, but also on the community side and on the training side. You can also browse through the tutorials by going here in the search tab. For instance, for the Earth system tutorials, you can search for Earth system, and then you'll be able to directly see all the tutorials that are related to Earth system sciences. So you can see them. You can see here that there's a little tag that is quickly showing what are the main key points of the tutorial, for instance, Earth system. And you'll have all the different tutorials explaining how to conduct a workflow or an analysis in Galaxy on Earth system sciences. And it will explain you how to use the tools in Galaxy. One last point of the Galaxy Training Network is also the learning pathway that I told you about just before. So for instance, if you click in it, you'll have different set of learning pathways. So for instance, you can discover Galaxy through a climate analysis. So you have, let's say, 5 or 6 tutorials that will guide you through a climate analysis. We can also have this one. So it's a learning pathway to discover how to build a community and how to develop the tools that your community would need within Galaxy, and how to set up all the user environment, friendly user environment that the community would need within Galaxy. So it's divided by day, and each day has a specific focus on. And here you'll have 3 days of training. So of course it will not take all day long, but we'll have 3 days of training on how to build and construct your community within Galaxy. One of the nice things of the Galaxy Training Network is that it's in parallel of Galaxy. So once you're on the Galaxy instance, which I will show you later on, you'll be able to go from the Galaxy Training Network to the Galaxy instance without having to open another tab. Everything is directly in parallel. So yeah, so that's the Galaxy Training Network. So everything that you need to understand Galaxy is here. And if you want, for instance, to understand how the tools work, how the theory works behind it, you will find it in the Galaxy Training Network. So let's go back to the presentation. So once you've seen the Galaxy Training Networks, let's bring a bit of theory in our presentation here. So we talked about the tools in Galaxy. So tools are actually of different kind. So you can have batch tools, which will be scripts that you can get that are like in Python, in R, in Java, any kind of informatic language. It can go into Galaxy. And the batch tool will have a formula where the user can directly input its parameters and just run the tool without having to have any knowledge in informatics. It's really an easy to use tool. You can also have another kind of tools, which is called Jupyter Labs. So the Jupyter Labs can be directly launched from Galaxy into another web tab. So in Galaxy, you can launch your Jupyter Lab with the right environment that you would need, the set of notebooks that you would want, and it will directly open the Jupyter Lab, and you can do your analysis within this Jupyter Lab, save what you want to save, and you will be able to retrieve everything into Galaxy. And then you have the last kind of tool, which is desktop applications, which basically work like the Jupyter Lab. You can directly from Galaxy launch a desktop application, so like QGIS, for instance, and then it will open in another web browser. And from there, you can do your analysis into the desktop application like you would have done it locally on your computer. You do everything that you want to do in this application, and then you can save everything, and then you can go back with all the things that you saved, and it will be available within the Galaxy instance. So what is nice with Galaxy for this kind of tools is that you can then chain one desktop applications to a Jupyter Lab to a batch tool, and everything can be done in one place.
Okay, thank you, Marie. Let's come back to hero Hélène. So Hélène is convinced by this proposal of a workflow, environment, and training platform fully integrated. And so she creates an account of the Galaxy on the Galaxy platform. The website looks clean, modern, and she uploads her data. She clicks, the interface fills, and at last she clicks runs. The workflow starts, no error, no broken software. She watches the progress bar, and 3 minutes later, job completed successfully. Could it be really easy? Yes, it could. On earthsystem.galaxy.eu, you can find pre-configured tools for data processing and visualization, such as XArray. You can access open data set from sources like Copernicus Marine Services or GoFloats. And you can read training and try workflows for climate data analysis or sea surface temperature anomalies or something like that. So she feels like a hero, and she calls her best friend Herbert. Herbert has been struggling for months to make different data sets work together. She works on ocean, she works on atmosphere, she works on soil. You can look at Herbert. It's a very good guy. So the job of Herbert, it's like trying to make cats, dogs, and jellyfish share the same bowl. So Herbert is quite skeptical, and Herbert likes to install things from the command line. But Hélène tells him, let's have a look on the tools of workflow of Earth Science Galaxy.eu.
So let's go directly to the Galaxy instance. So here you can directly arrive on the homepage of earthsystem.usegalaxy.eu. So you'll have 4 main sections. You'll have the section on the left, where you have different tools, workflows, and different features that you would need for your analysis. I'll go back in detail in that. Then you have on the right your history, which are basically all the steps of your analysis that are documented and saved here. Then you have the middle panel where you'll be able to see the formula of the tools that you want to use, and also to see the output of those tools there. And you have the top bar where I can show you what I was telling you just earlier about the training materials. So here on the little hat on the top bar, you can click in it, and it will directly open the Galaxy training network there. So there you can just choose the tutorial that you want, that you need. And then once you choose the tutorial, you can go back to the Galaxy instance without having to go from one tab to another. So let's start by the left side. So on the left side, you have upload here. So this will allow you to upload the data you would like to process. So you can either choose local files. So this you can directly upload data from your computer, but you can also Sorry, I have a problem with the Zoom panel that is hiding the button. So yeah, you can choose to do from your local computer, or you can also choose to bring data remotely. So there you can have access to FTP bucket or S3 buckets that are plugged into Galaxy Europe, and then you can browse through this bucket and choose the data that you want, and then it will be brought back onto Galaxy. And also the last way to upload data is to paste and fetch. So here you can directly paste the link. If you have a direct link to your data, you can directly paste the link of your data there, and then it will be directly brought back onto the Galaxy instance. So when you've uploaded your data, you'll be able to see them into your history side here on the right. So as you can see here, I brought back from my computer a lot of netcdf files. And once you have your data here, you can choose to analyze them. So to analyze them and process them, you can directly go to the tools panel here. And then here you have a set of tools. So as we told you in the beginning, Galaxy Europe has more than 3,600 tools, but for the Earth system user environment, we decided to have only part of those tools that we think are relevant for Earth sciences. But of course, if some tools are missing, we can add them. And then you can browse through the different sections to find the tools that you want, or you can directly try to search it by name here on the top. So you have, for instance, tools on water coastal dynamics. So as I told you, we have Jupyter Labs that can directly be launched here, but also interactive tools like desktop application like Ocean Data View here. And on the Earth critical part, we have QGIS that I told you, which you can directly launch from here. And in the different tools, you can have all the interactive tools where you can see Copernicus data space ecosystem or stack catalog, or you can even launch Air Studio from Galaxy or Panoply. And yeah, you can just browse through different tools, see if you have everything that you need. And so I can show you what a formula of a tool looks like. So for instance, for ODV. So here in the middle panel, you can see you have the formula of your tool. So normally all tools will have a help section here in the bottom that will explain you what is the tool doing. But also you have the tutorial part where you can see all the tutorials where this tool is used, and you can choose one of these tutorials to help you on how to use this tool. And so once you decided how to use this tool, you can directly here input the parameter that you want. So for instance, you have some decision to make. So if you want to have an ODB collection in a zip folder, if you have your own raw data. So if you have your own raw data, you can select this. And then here you can input the netcdf files that you want to have into your Ocean Data View. So it's an ocean visualization interactive tools desktop application, where you'll be able to analyze and visualize your ocean data. And once you've choose what you put here, you can then run the tool and you'll be able to do your analysis into another tab. Also, what I can show you into this tool is in the top here. So you have the name of the tool, a small description of what it's doing, and the version of the tool. So here it's the version v5.7.2. And here you can see you have versions. So if you want to get switched to another version that is more recent, and you can see that the formula directly changes to the most version, the most version update of the tool, and you have new parameters that you can fill in. And so here you can directly fill what you want to fill and then run the tool. And once you run the tool and did everything that you need to do, you can save what you did into this interactive tool, and everything that you saved will be visible and will be retrievable directly in the history here. So as you can see here, I run multiple tools and twice ODB. And you can click on the outputs. And for instance, here from the ODV that I used, I was able to generate a PNG. And if I click on the eye here, I can directly see the output of my tool into the middle panel. And yeah, so this is the history side where you will have all the steps of your analysis that are directly documented. And this is one of the most important part because as I told you and showed you at the beginning, it has a workflow editors in Galaxy. So from the history, you can directly extract it as a workflow. You can also share or publish your history to your collaborators or to the world. And if you extract it as a workflow, you will then be able to see it in the workflows here. And here on this part, you can see all the different workflows that I created, but you can also have access to the public workflows of the platform and choose which workflow you want to use. And yeah, so there are a lot of other features onto Galaxy, but I have no time to show you everything, but that's basically how Galaxy works and what you can do within Galaxy. So let's go back to the presentation. And so I showed you, no. So I showed you, sorry. Yeah. So I showed you the different tools that we have into Galaxy. So yeah, we have data access tools also. So for instance, you can directly have access to Copernicus data store data to a tool that allow you to have access to Copernicus data. Also, a tool that can access ArgoFloat data for physical marine data, and also marinomics data with the OBIS networks. And so there are Galaxy is a platform as a service. So as I told you, we have different kind of tools like QGIS, Ocean Data View, and dedicated Jupyter Labs.
Yeah, that you can use outside some workflow or analysis just to use this tool.
Yeah. And so these tools can then be changed into workflows. So why workflows? It allows the world to better understand your analysis because you have then smaller script, easier to read. It's really the division of the different steps of your analysis. It allows researcher to combine the tools. So if you do an analysis, any researcher can then retake your analysis and do a different kind of analysis from your workflow and reuse the tools that you brought into Galaxy and do any kind of other workflow with it. So it's more flexible and it allows reproducible and interoperable science. So for instance, this is an example of a workflow that is fully interactive. So you can see we go from one Jupyter Lab to a desktop application and to another Jupyter Lab. So this is a workflow human in the loop where the user can directly go into a Jupyter Lab, do what he wants to do. When it's saved, it will directly launch the next tool. Then the user needs to intervene again. And then when it's closed, it launch the last tools and then the user intervene one last time. But you can also have, with way more steps, fully automatic tools, workflows like this, where you just have to decide on the first input parameters and then you can run it and everything will be run automatically. The user don't need to intervene at any point and just has to retrieve the outputs that you want at the end. So this is a fully automatic workflow that you can find on Galaxy and that has way more steps. And so now you can ask, yeah, that's nice, but I would like to share my work with all the world and not just stay within the scope of Galaxy. So, of course, Galaxy thought of that too, the Galaxy community. So you can also export your workflow invocation into a work rate. So work rate is a lightweight approach to packaging research data with the metadata. So it also can package the metadata of the tools that is used into your analysis. So once you've run the workflow within Galaxy, Galaxy saves all the analytical steps of the workflow in your history, as I showed you. And once it saved all the steps like that here, you can directly generate a work rate from this history. And then you can retrieve all the metadata that are needed to redo or rerun your workflow. So it will be a JSON where you have all the metadata as a work rate of your workflow. Once you have this work rate, you can directly bring this work rate within Workflow Hub. So Workflow Hub is a catalog of workflows where you can directly access the different workflows where you have a set of workflows. And for instance, once you have your work rate, you can directly import this work rate within Workflow Hub, and you'll be able to see your Galaxy workflow within Workflow Hub. So this is totally independent of Galaxy, but it has some links. As you can see here on the top, you can run the workflow within Galaxy again. So Workflow Hub allows you to have a you to be visible outside of Galaxy. It allows you to have your workflow with some metadata here to version your workflow and to share it with the community. And people can then choose to go back onto Galaxy to run this workflow or not. They can retrieve this workflow and use it somewhere else. So if you want to reuse the workflow into Galaxy, you can directly click on the button, run on Galaxy, and then it goes back to Galaxy, and there you'll be able to run the workflow once more. So any user can retrieve your workflow like that. And then you can go from the Workflow Hub to Galaxy and from Galaxy to Workflow Hub. And that's how you can share your workflow with the world. So yeah, that's how Galaxy works. And it seems magic and you can think that it has everything, but of course you can have something missing, like the perfect R script that you're working on and you would like to have it onto Galaxy because it's really essential to your analysis and you can't find it anywhere in Galaxy. So how to do it? You have to add it yourself, of course.
Whoa. It's Professor Theoric. Professor Theoric always appears when scientists get too excited about shiny tools. Professor Theoric knows everything, and he knows that Herbert wants to bring her own custom scripts and tools into Galaxy. But a good data analysis must to follow key principles. So the good news is that Galaxy is built with the FAIR principles. Tools and script, and we will have a look on this after. Tools and script can be wrapped into Galaxy tools wrappers and Docker containers. And once integrated, they can be shared across the entire Galaxy community. So by bringing your tools into Galaxy, you ensure that your methods are not just reusable for yourself, but discoverable and reusable by others. Galaxy is not just about running analysis, it's about making science more open, collaborative, and reproducible. So now let's have a look at how to bring your tools on Galaxy.
So yeah, so this is a bit more technical and how to bring tools into Galaxy. So also on the way on building tools on Galaxy, Galaxy relies on the FAIR principle. So your tools that you're bringing on, that you want to bring into Galaxy will need to have some basic information, some metadata. So for instance, a tool name, an ID and description, it will need to be open source for everyone to be able to use it. And it will have to have some generalization and some standardization so that you can use any user can use any kind of data set in it and that you can chain it in different workflows. So to do so, we have to rely on 3 key points. So atomization, which means that if you have a big R script or a big Python script, you need to divide it in elementary bricks that can then be tools and be reused in workflows. And you have also generalization where you have to have standardized tools. So this is the part where the metadata comes in. And finally, you have the rigor with the peer review. So this is actually the last part where the Galaxy community, which is really active, will come and help you to have the perfect tools and the most beautiful one and user-friendly one. So on the first part, generalization and standardization. So this is what you need to do basically for any kind of tool that you want to add. So I told you about batch tools and interactive tools. So this is a part that is common to any kind of tools. So for each script, so Python, R, Java, any kind of informatic language, you will have to link your script to a wrapper. So it's an XML file where you have to fill in some necessary information. So for instance, you'll have to put an ID, the name of your tool, the version, a short description, and also the dependency, so the libraries that your script needs to run, to be able to run, and the input. And everything that you put into the XML files is actually what will be visible by the user when you want to run its tool. So you can see here the name, the description, and the version, and below the inputs. And so the first and maybe one of the most tricky part, it's actually the requirements. So as I told you, the requirements is actually the libraries and all the dependencies that your tool will need to run. So if it's a batch tool, for instance, you'll need to have your libraries onto Conda. So it's a community-led collection of recipes, built infrastructure and distribution for the Conda package manager. So you'll need to have your package there, but then once it's there, and it can already be there because there are already a lot of libraries there, you just have to fill it in the wrapper XML here, and then it will be available for your script to easily run and have all the libraries that it needs to run. For a new interactive tools, it needs another kind of requirement, which is a container. So for instance, you will need a Docker image where you will have all the environment that your Jupyter Lab or your desktop application needs to run. And then everything else is common to the two kind of tools. And fortunately, everything is well documented on the Galaxy training network. So if you have any kind of question on how to bring your tool onto Galaxy, you can directly go within the Galaxy training network and everything is explained there. And once you have your tool ready and that you want to publish it, you'll need to do your first pull request onto the right Galaxy repository onto GitHub. So once you did the pull request, some automatic checks will be run by GitHub, and that will allow you to fix the issues that you could have into your tool, to improve it as much as you can. And finally, some reviewers from the Galaxy community will come and advise you on how to improve your tool and give you some advice so that it can be the best version of it. Of course, this community is really active, so you'll have people guiding you through the process, but you can also ask them to directly help you to bring a tool within Galaxy if you don't know how to begin on bringing the tool into Galaxy. So yeah, that's how you can go through in Galaxy.
So in one slide to resume what Marie showed us before. If you want to bring your workflow on Galaxy, the development steps will be you have to create your tools to make your container, to write your wrapper, and you can be sure that it will be reviewed by experts. After your tools have been put on the Galaxy platform, you have to set up your workflow. This workflow can be shared, can be published with the work rate technology and the workflow web platform. So you can put a human in the loop in your workflow if you want to use some desktop tool like Ocean Data View or JIS platform, but it can be fully automatic with batch tools. And you have to write some tutorial to explain how the community can reuse your tools, that can reuse and modify your workflow. Just a last, before to conclude, a last intervention of the Professor Theoric. The Professor Theoric, to have a better understanding, like that we try to compare the galaxy solution beside the pyramid of needs.
So we have the galaxy pyramid of needs. So Helen, when she started to when she started to have an issue with her script, she wanted some compute access and some data access, and then she wanted to be able to process her data with some tools. And once she was able to do that, she actually wanted to build a full computational workflows. And then she was happy, but she wanted to share what she did with Herbert, and that Herbert will be able to understand what she did. So from there, she built a training where Herbert was able to use what she did and redo what she did, which brought to collaborations and most importantly, cross-domain, because actually Galaxy is domain agnostic. So on Galaxy, you are able to do cross-domain. So a scientist from ocean can work with a scientist from volcano science and build one big workflow all together on two domains, on two different domains in one and same place.
Yes, so today the sun rises outside. I can try to move the laptop.
No,
It
no.
will be a very, but the sun rises outside. And today, Helen finishes her first analysis on Galaxy. And with Herbert, they begin to start on their first workflow together. Is air pollution making the sun grumpy? So just to conclude, welcome to Galaxy. Thank you for your attention.